when the truth comes out. Tick tock, won't stop, let the facts talk. Pull up real close, yeah, it's crime o'clock. Clock, clock, yeah. Typically new, neon signs glow, brick wall behind me. Headlines loud, but they never define me. They rush the story, skip the proof. I slow it down, let it show the truth. Files on deck, read every line. Timestamps matter, so does time. If it don't fit, I don't force the frame. Ask one question, whole story change. No fear my voice, no need to shout. Paper speaks when you read it out. If the math's off, I'll circle twice. Truth ain't loud, but it ain't nice. Yeah. Read it again. It's crime o'clock, yeah. Feel that sound. Typically unique when the truth comes out. Tick tock, won't stop. Let the facts talk. Pull up real close, yeah. It's crime o'clock. It's crime o'clock. Read it again. They sell a narrative if I sell receipts. Courtroom quiet, but the pages speak. Word for word, no added spin. Let it stand, yeah, let that sink in. Screenshot save, timeline's tight. Missing pieces keep me up at night. If they say alleged, I say why. If they say case closed, I say try. No rush here, we do it right. Truth don't bend for the likes of hype. If you came for noise, you in the wrong spot. This is evidence, this is crime o'clock. Clock, clock, clock. Stay with me. This isn't background noise. This is pattern recognition. This is documents. This is crime o'clock. It's crime o'clock, yeah. Feel that sound. Typically unique when the truth comes out. Tick tock, won't stop. Let the facts talk. Say it with me now. Crime o'clock. It's crime o'clock. Typically unique. It's crime o'clock. Yeah. If you're here, you're early. If you're listening, you're paying attention. Show starts now.
Hello, everybody. It always puts me on here small. Welcome to Crime O'Clock on Typically Unique. I have a hair sticking out. How is everybody today? Good to see you all. Happy Thursday. Hope everybody's having a great day. Hi, Jeff. Hey, Christina. Hi, Ro. Beach Babe. Meg, Megastar, SRB, Mike. Hello, hello. Mike, you saved my eyeballs by telling me to tilt the ring camera. It made a big difference. Huge difference. Hi, Witchy Was. Thanks for joining me, everybody. Sleuther 75, Blue Devil 95. Awesome group in here this morning. And we're getting into it with this investigation. So we have lots of questions. I've been poking holes at how I think there's issues that could be used with an appeal. And, you know, issues come from the investigation. How was the investigation done? And we've seen all the body cam footage of the police officers at the scene and critiquing that and what were they doing. And I've done some episodes on what's a coroner versus a medical examiner and the work they do. I haven't really gotten into too much of the work that they do. And that's what I wanted to look at the coroner who has spoken out publicly. And I'm trying to figure out, because every state is different, like what work should have been done from the beginning by the coroner. I'm frustrated that we haven't seen a lot come out of information from the medical examiner's work. I think some of the reporting about this was confusing. So that's what we're going to look at today. We've got some videos that we're going to analyze and some documents to look at. And I put out an SOS because let me see if anybody answered me. A state amended. Okay, so there's a document. I think it was one big document where and I feel like it was one of the most recently released where it was written like essay style, just narratives of like the scene itself, someone walking through the scene, and then some of the expert reports, the prosecution expert and the defense expert. And then there was a section where everybody was calling it the autopsy report. It's not really the official autopsy report, but it had some of that information in it. And I don't know where I put that thing. Sometimes I'll be in a rush and click it and save it, and it just goes to my general drive and it's lost. And I think that might have been what happened. So I know what I wanted to reference in there, but until I find it, I won't be able to. Tomboy, I see you sent me something, so that will be interesting. We'll look at that. But I got things lined up anyways. So if you are, I tagged you in them. Okay. I have the individual heirs report and the Hilly reports, and those are like the forensic reports. Like it's got the chart at the top with like the victim's information, and then it's got the itemized like evidence pieces, and then it's got the little tiny I'm not talking about those. This is more like narrative reports because I have those. Unless I dreamed it. Was it all a dream? Was it all a dream? Any of you get any of that big weather yesterday? The storms that came through? I hope you were not in that tornado alley. I think a tornado hit over by Chicago on Tuesday night. And then that weather came my way, and we didn't get big storms or anything, but we got a lot of rain. Oh no, William Tardy, you were in that. I hope you didn't get any damage or anything and you were home safe. But I had to drive on the freeway yesterday to go take a car in for an oil change at the at a dealership that's, about a half hour away. And it poured the whole entire time, like bad. There was a certain part that was like really bad. As soon as I got home, stopped raining, sun came out. I'm like, you dirty dog. I was like, that's my luck. That's the way things happen. But I was proud of myself for doing it because I don't like driving in weather. Like, I really wanted to cancel the appointment, but I forced myself to go. Yeah, I hope everybody was safe through that. Ooh, I just choked. Hold on. Ooh. There was another Bigfoot sighting last night. Oh, yeah. I'll probably save that for Dago to cover. But if you don't know, there's websites for Bigfoot tracking, and they had a whole map planned out, and people call in and report it to this group, I guess, that tracks Bigfoot sightings. And there was, my goodness, 7 to 9 sightings from Monday to yesterday in Ohio. Probably about 45 minutes to an hour south of me. And I know it was right around Dago. So yeah, we were freaking out yesterday when we saw that it was so close to him. And I'm like, you keep that down there by you. NORAD is tracking him. That's funny. That's funny. You asked if Twiz was in Ohio. That's funny. Oh my goodness. All right. So we're going to get into it today. And I found a compilation of a whole bunch of news clips and news reporting for the Idaho 4 case from the beginning week. And I think it's Creme 2 News that was on the scene right away. They're in that area. And I think they did their own compilation. So we're going to start with that. And when I hear something that is something that we can, this the one? Nope. Kind of. Yeah, this one.
Dude, side eye. What is this?
When we hear something we can side eye, I'm going to stop it and we're going to get into it. I always think it's interesting, every time, and you can do this several times because every time we get new information, then you can go back to the beginning and analyze it through that lens, and it just gives new meaning. Interesting.
I've been here in Moscow on scene since about 3 p.m. Since I've been here, I've watched Moscow police cars come in and out of this neighborhood, where officials found 4 people dead. Neighbors say they began noticing police cars flood the area around 12 p.m. today. Moscow police say they responded to a call here on King Road for an unconscious individual.
I hate to do this already, but we were talking yesterday
where
about
officials found 4 people dead.
Okay, so there's 1112, and I would assume that is a resident. You never know, but are those balloons inside or disco balls? What are those things hanging in there? You guys see that? And who do you think this guy is? I'm wondering. So I know people were asking who actually lived in this house and that we have not seen. Doesn't it look like it? Do you see what I'm talking about? There's 2 things. If you blow it up and look at it big, they look like they're inflated, but they also look like they have the design for a disco ball, which is interesting. But they're right above that guy's head on the inside. This is the first time I've ever seen a shot into their home, but people were asking, well, we've noticed they haven't had interviews of the people who live in this house, who lives in this house, and why didn't they interview them? Or if they did, where are those interviews, right? That is what they look like. It looks like helium balloons that are like disco balls. But this guy does not have, I don't think, police identifying information on his jacket. So wondering who he is. Oh, there's another person. So these are both brunettes. Girl on the left, her hair looks black.
Neighbors.
Oh, he does have a sheriff star. Do you see the star? So that looks like the sheriff.
Say
Interesting.
they began.
Oh, there's a third girl. I think sitting.
Noticing police cars flood the area around 12 p.m. today. Moscow police say they responded to a call here on King Road for an unconscious individual. Upon further investigation, officials found 4 people dead. While police investigated the scene, the University of Idaho enacted a shelter-in-place alert as
all right, let's look there. Who was that? Was that Lanier that was walking there, and I know you guys said he walked through the snow, so there's a shot of him doing that. We were also talking yesterday, so look at this gray house. That is where can you guys see my mouse? If I move it around on here, let me know. Can you see my mouse? Because I want to point something out. Here, I'm moving it right now. Can you see a big pink pointer? And hello, Julie. And hello. I saw somebody say hello, Sylvia Hurley. Hello. You can see it. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. So this is 1112 where the camera was, but we were discussing how if their bedroom windows are not here on this side, but on the back, or if they're on, I believe the kitchen window is on the right side over here. So right out their kitchen window, you can see straight at the 1122 house. So that's interesting. So you could have a visual on that house that night. If their bedrooms are towards the back, which most usually are, probably some down if there's a lower level. Looks like there's a lower level here. Windows, I would assume, would be facing back over there. So we were just talking about that, like, wow, they could really probably hear. The other thing I wanted to point out to you is that over here on the other side of these cars, this house, it looks lower, but when you go down to the road level, there's a lot of steps that go up to it. This one is more directly across from Jack Decor's house, I believe. And I looked at the incident. There was a video where, remember, the car got broke into and the girl said everything from inside her car was put into a suitcase and the suitcase was thrown out of the car. This is the house that happened at. And on that video, she said, she already ordered a ring cam, like already ordered it. So it should have been on the way. That was well before the murders, I believe. So ring cams don't operate the same way as this camera, 1112. I'm surprised they had a continuously recording camera. Ring cameras only go off when there's motion or noise or something. What did you guys send me? Let me look. Windows that people can go in and out of and not be caught on camera. Just saying. Thank you, Meg. Let's see. Oh, that would be interesting to look at. Let's look at that. So I'm pulling up the inside of that house, I believe. Floor plans. Is this it? Is it in the group, Meg? Or did you do it individually? Oh, here it is. I got it. All right, let's see. Okay, let me see if I can make it bigger. Oh, there it goes. Oh, right. Okay. Wow. Look at that. So it says lower level. Let me see. Let's look at this one. Wait, these are the same. Both pictures are the same. Is there a different level? No, they're not the same. There we go. Okay. All right. Yeah, this is what I wanted to see. I wanted to see where the deck was in relation. So, okay. So you can see the deck. Let me make sure this is showing up for you guys. Okay. Yeah. So here's where you come up from the cars, up the deck, into a living room and kitchen area. So we could kind of see that wall right there where they had plants hanging. Kitchen right over here. So the 1122 home would be, the kitchen window would be facing right out towards that house. Also, I would assume a bathroom would have a window. You would think. I don't see one on here, but bedrooms, back of the house. So there's 1, 2 on the main floor of the house. They have a window facing directly towards where the deck and the house would be. So one bedroom window and one kitchen window facing 1, 1, 2, 2. That's interesting. And then the 2 windows in the back. That's the main floor. And then here is the lower floor. So they have 2 bedrooms up towards the deck. Wow, there's a lot of bedrooms in that house. That's crazy. 1, 2, 3, 4 down here. So one more bedroom on the bottom floor that has a window facing and window out the back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 bedrooms downstairs and 2 bedrooms upstairs. 6 bedrooms. So 6 people live in that house. 6 bedrooms and 1 door. Is that a fire hazard? That's a fire hazard. Yeah, here's the only door to the deck. Let's double check. So here's where you go downstairs. So in the living room is where you go downstairs right away. So you can come in the house, walk through the living room, go downstairs. And then you come upstairs to a hallway. Downstairs, to a hallway. Oh, there's 2 bathrooms downstairs. Yeah, there's no other door. That's crazy. I guess they got windows. Go out the window. Thank you for sharing that for me. That is interesting. All right, we're going to go on with this.
As we've stated, that alert is lifted at this time. Neighbors say most people living in this area are a part of U of I Greek life or are students, but we do.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't know I was going to stop at this frequently, but we're here to talk. We're here to talk. This reporter said that they were told by law enforcement that most of the people who live in this area are students or Greek life. Well, I would agree with that with the houses that are divided up into multiple bedrooms and rented, but the apartments like the Queen Road apartments mostly, so maybe they're just excluding the Queen Road apartments. I would think Linda Lane also. It's my show. You do what you want. When you watch them going door to door and knocking and talking to people, most of the people in the apartments are like, well, I'm not a student here, but my friend who's a student sent me the alert. So there are many, many people that live around there that are not students as well.
Not know the identities of those involved or who lives at the residence. Officials are investigating. This is a very much developing situation, and we will continue to stay on the grounds until we have more information to report back to you. Until then, in Moscow, Janelle Finch, KREM 2 News.
So police still have this house here near University of Idaho taped off. This right here is where officers found 4 bodies yesterday. We now know the names of those 4 students. They were 20-year-old Ethan Chapin from Conway, Washington, 21-year-old Madison Mogan from Coeur d'Alene.
Did I just rewind? Did this thing just rewind? Or are they just showing it again?
So police still have this house here near University of Idaho taped off. This right here is where officers found 4 bodies yesterday. We now know the names of those 4 students. They were 20-year-old Ethan Chapin from Conway, Washington, 21-year-old Madison Mogan from Coeur d'Alene, 21-year-old Kaylee Goncalves from Rathdrum, Idaho, and 20-year-old Dana Kernodle from Avondale, Arizona, and they were all University of Idaho students. Here's a breakdown of the timeline from what we know so far. Around 1 p.m., we heard reports of a homicide investigation near the college campus. An hour later, the school put out an alert. And they were all university names of those 4 students. They were 20-year-old Ethan Chapin from Conway, Washington, what we know so far.
Okay. There they are at the scene. But I have to tell you guys, it's not uncommon for prosecutors to show up to a crime scene. I looked that up. I was concerned about that, but it does happen. The only thing I'm concerned about today is why the coroner did not go in sooner. So we will be looking at that. I know, Jeff, their names being mispronounced, just like, I don't like that. I think it's important to take the time to learn their names. Now, this is old footage, so it is back, but you're a news reporter. Isn't that like one of the first things you fact check? Like, how do you say their names? Oh my goodness. Look at that. 20. Sleuther. Thank you. Thank you. Oh my goodness. I hope a lot of people that are in here right now grab those up. 20 new unique peeps. Welcome in, everybody. That's amazing.
I appreciate you. Thank 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 you for the support. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate.
Whoops. All right, let me see. Oh my goodness, look at all these names I gotta read. This is wild. Leah, yeah, I was hoping you would get one. Leah's Story, the musical, Cherubs, Natalie, Badass 67, Jenny. Oh yeah, I hope that is my Jenny. Kendra, Truth Lobbyist. Ooh, I love that name. Polka Dots, Miss Lisa B, Sandra, Scarlet Crush. Paris something. I'm sorry about that. K Bats, Vberg Amy, Pink Kelly. Look at these names. Love it. Sakura James Moen. I hope I see him in here today. That's awesome. You're green. Jimmy Jim, Living Dead Girl. Here for it. Law Hayes, something like that. Welcome in, everybody. Sleuther, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. All right, so there they are, everybody outside, the prosecutors, the police, the law enforcement. We know this was later in the day, and it was after a search warrant. So they did wait. I have a document. I do have a document that says what time that they got there. The duck. Here's the duck right there. I was looking for a, I still haven't found a stand for him yet, but I did not name him yet. What do you guys want to name him? Tomboy, I'm going to look at that. Can you message me like a summary of it? Like what's in it? Just super short. Hi, Sandra Kayashi. Puddles. I was looking up P names that have to go with crime.
Around 1 p.m., we heard reports of a homicide investigation near the college campus. An hour later, the school put out an alert on social media. It said Moscow PD is investigating a homicide on King Road. They asked the community to stay away from the area and shelter in place as a precaution. Around 3 in the afternoon, Krem 2 arrived in Moscow. Neighbors said most people living in this area are a part of U of I Greek life or are students. At around 5 in the evening, the Moscow Police Department confirmed they had found 4 people dead, but it wasn't until late last night that they confirmed those victims were students. The university also said Moscow police.
I think it's just interesting looking at this footage, like I said. So these two people walking right here, I believe they're actually on body cam footage when the police go door to door knocking. And she's the one that asks and says, hey, we want to go to the gas station or something. Can we walk down there? And then they were telling them where to go. I think that's them.
Do not think there's any active threat at the moment as they continue their investigation. Classes for university.
Okay, there was that guy that was at the house. So I believe this is him. Look at the back of this truck.
The university also said Moscow police do not think there's any active threat at the moment.
Right there, the guy standing in the truck with the puffy, we call those puffy jackets. So he was at the 1112 house.
As they continue their investigation. Classes for University of Idaho students are canceled for the day. They say they will resume classes tomorrow. In Moscow, Nicole Hernandez, KREM 2 News.
Moscow police responded to King Road for a call about an unconscious person Sunday afternoon. When police arrived, they found the 4 deceased students inside the home. This morning, the city of Moscow and University of Idaho identified all 4 U of I students. Freshman Ethan Chapin of Conway, Washington, was a member of the Sigma Chi fraternity. Zaina Kernodal, a junior from Post Falls, was a member of the Pi Beta Phi sorority. Madison Mogan was a senior from Coeur d'Alene, and Kaylee Gonzalez was a senior from Rathdrum.
This is a pretty traumatic situation for our campus community.
Dean of Students Blaine Eccles says news of the suspected homicide shocked the Vandal community.
This is rocking their world. Many of them come from small communities where things like this have never happened.
He says drop-in.
Okay, you guys, I have to name him Gerald. It has come out of nowhere, but that dolphin video, I know this is not a dolphin, but Gerald, you don't question Gerald. You don't question Gerald. And if you guys don't get that inside joke, I'll tell you later. You could watch my episode from, when was that? Monday? I don't know. That's funny. Uh-oh. What's going on? I'll keep an eye out. I'll keep an eye out.
Counseling is available to students at any time, but he recognizes that many students have already returned home early for the upcoming holiday.
People need to navigate through this situation in the way that best suits them. If students need to go home, be closer with their families, want to return home, I support them in doing that. We're going to support them in doing that.
Support for U of I goes beyond the university campus. Businesses throughout the city of Moscow are offering prayers and thoughts for the Vandal community. And because Moscow is a tight-knit community with a strong relationship with the university, this response isn't a surprise to Mayor Art Bettage.
I feel very badly for them, and not just for the victims, but everybody else who's a friend and associate with those people.
He told me he was shocked by the news about what he's calling a senseless act of violence.
This is stuff that shouldn't happen, especially in a small, quiet town like Moscow is, where we're heavily involved with the university. And these are things that affect not just town, but the university, the students, lends everybody to a sense of insecurity about what's going on here and why. And it's a very tragic and sad situation all around.
In speaking with Kaylee Gonzalez's mother and sister, they tell me Kaylee was a strong and passionate go-getter. She even already had a job lined up in the tech industry after graduation. Kaylee was one of 5 Gonzalez's children. She graduated from Lake City High School, the same school as Maddie Mogan, another victim. Kaylee's family says the two were especially close, and Maddie was a part of their family as well. Kaylee's oldest sister, Olivia, shared a statement on behalf of the Gonzalez family. It reads in part.
Okay, so there goes Lanier, I think. Is that him?
family as well. Kaylee's oldest sister, Olivia.
So this house has two exits and entrances, right? Front and back. I mean, I'm no crime scene expert. I'm not a police officer, but I just using common sense. If you want to limit contamination at a crime scene, I would probably designate the front door where there weren't any victims found on the first floor. So you are designating an area farthest away from where the victims are. I would designate that as that's where you enter and exit. Stay away from the backyard. Nobody needs to walk in the backyard. Also, because they said the sliding door was open and you're suspecting that's where the perpetrator entered and exited from, nobody needs to be walking through that backyard. No one needs to go back there. You have it roped off. If you need to guard, because they're guarding it, right, for the rest of the day. If you need to guard that area, go stand over by the woods or by the street over there, stand outside the fence, stand over on the side by 1112. Like, you could do a perimeter around the house that's further away, right? That's Kim's law enforcement advice for today. Like, what are they doing?
Shared a statement on
Trump right up
behalf
there.
of the Gonzalez family. It reads in part, Kaylee was, is, and always will be our defender and protector. She is tough and fair, the ultimate middle child. She did absolutely everything she set her mind to. She didn't hold back on love, fights, or life. Kaylee was the ultimate go-getter and constantly wanted an adventure. We still have a lot of questions about what happened. Also looking for answers is Kaylee's family. Kaylee's sister, Olivia, asked the public to stop spreading rumors about what happened and wait for the facts from police. We are continuing to ask our own questions and will continue to bring you updates as we get them. In the studio, Janelle Finch, KREM 2 News.
Ethan Chapin, his brother and sister, all grew up here together. They went to school here together, and together they enrolled at the University of Idaho. 3 inseparable siblings, now torn apart.
You just couldn't ask for better kids.
Dave Hayton considered Ethan Chapin family, all the Chapin kids actually. He and his wife watched them grow up in their Conway neighborhood. They'd come over for fudgesicles from the basement freezer. When the couple heard what happened, they were crushed.
She's crying. And she says, Ethan's been murdered. Yeah. I just couldn't, you just can't get your head around it.
All 3 siblings attended the Conway School before moving on to Mount Vernon High, where Ethan played on the basketball team and graduated last year. All 3 later decided to attend the University of Idaho. Ethan and his brother were members of the same fraternity.
I know I didn't sleep a lot last night. I'm just thinking of them. We had some good times together.
The Haytons treated the kids like grandchildren. The couple shared these photos from Ethan's mom's Instagram page, this one taken just a few weeks ago at Parents' Weekend. Dave recalls Ethan as smart, athletic, and always respectful. He says all 3 were great kids, and having one of them gone is inconceivable.
I remember last night I woke up several times and I think, gee, I wish somebody would just tell me this is a bad dream. But unfortunately, it's not a bad dream. It's a reality.
Still no word as to a potential motive in these killings, no word as to a potential suspect. However, authorities in Idaho do say that there is no threat to the public. In Conway, Washington, Eric Wilkinson for KREM 2 News.
We've watched this memorial grow all day long. Students dropping off flowers and stuffed animals, remembering the 4 young lives that were lost. And there's still a lot of unanswered questions tonight, like how this happened and why.
Like, it's all just shocking and scary. Like, I never would have thought that this would have happened here.
Tonight, yellow crime tape still surrounds the house where 4 young college students were found dead over the weekend, a crime shocking the University of Idaho community. Classes were canceled today, and some students have decided to go on Thanksgiving break early.
A lot of people left last night, and then we were like, I know we were like one of the only ones who actually stayed here last night. My mom has called me every single hour for since 7 a.m. this morning. So,
Oh, there we go. They stayed there that night. That's interesting. So I see a huge debate going on in the chat, which is fine. It's okay to debate. And I don't see any name calling or anything like that. I do see somebody with an extremely different opinion than everybody else, but answer if you want, don't answer if you don't want to. But as long as comments are not name calling or bullying other people, I think it's fine. But look at this. So I want to point this out. So we're back at this house.
Were canceled today, and some students have decided to go on Thanksgiving break early.
a lot of
So let's see.
people left last night, and then we were I know we were the only, one of the only ones who
Wait a minute. I think is that the car that got broke into? I'm trying to think because I just watched that video. I just watched this video. It was either that car or this car was next to the one that got broke into.
actually stayed here last night. My mom has called me every single hour.
Okay, so she's coming out of 1112. So there's another person. So I believe we've seen 4 people so far. And I'm just pointing this out because I know a lot of people that I've seen in chat. I know, don't let the pot get stirred. Don't let the pot get stirred, Don't respond if you don't want to. No, Dylan, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. Just what I just said. Not putting nasty comments. People were questioning who actually lived in this house because I don't know if we've seen any names or anything, but in this video, this is the, I believe, 4th different person that we've been able to see.
For
And they stayed there. So they didn't rush right home.
since 7 a.m. this morning. So yeah, they want me to come home if I don't feel safe.
Moscow police have not said much about what exactly happened, but they have released the names of the victims. 2 of them, Zana Kernodal, a junior from Post Falls, and Madison Mogan, a senior from Coeur d'Alene, were servers at the Mad Greek restaurant in downtown Moscow. The restaurant posted on Facebook saying the 2 brought so much joy to the restaurant and all they encountered. Mad Greek is now closed, giving staff time to grieve along with the rest of the community. And the university is planning a vigil for the victims. That's taking place at 5 p.m. on Wednesday on the lawn outside the administration building. In Moscow, Kyle Simchuk, KREM 2 News.
So everything that we just saw so far was on Monday. Yeah. Yep. Bye-bye. Bye-bye to the rude comments. I told you I'm not putting up with that. And as soon as I said it, that's where it went.
Well, the Moscow Police Department hasn't added any new information since they released a press release this morning about the homicide investigation. But a few hours ago, we did speak with the Latah County coroner. Kathy Mabbitt is calling all four deaths homicides and that the cause of death is likely a stabbing. But we won't know that for certain until the autopsy report comes back and she can make that official ruling. Now,
All right. Sorry. I was reading the chat because we had an issue going on. Hi, Crime and Chaos. Good morning. Good morning. I protect my megastar. No one messes with my megastar. Or any of the rest of you.
Any new information since they released a press release this morning about the homicide investigation. But a few hours ago, we did speak with the Latah County coroner. Kathy Mabbitt is calling all four deaths homicides and that the cause of death is likely a stabbing. But we won't know that for certain until the autopsy report comes back and she can make that official ruling. Now, to take that a step further, Latah County contracts its autopsies out to the Spokane County Medical Examiner. And I confirmed this afternoon that Spokane County is in fact conducting the autopsies on the 4 University of Idaho students. Now, the Spokane County spokesperson says the medical examiner has not yet started those autopsies. Once they are done, the medical examiner will forward her recommended findings to the Latah County coroner.
Okay. So in Idaho, the whole state of Idaho does not have a medical examiner. So that's the person that has to be a medical person. So Idaho sends the bodies of a crime to Spokane, Washington, and I found some information about the medical examiner's office in Spokane. Let me see. Right here. So they used to have a different medical examiner, and I just thought this was interesting, you guys. Okay, let's start with this one. So I found this article. Make sure you can see it. Yep. Okay. Spokane County ends medical examiner contract with Kootenai County Coroner's Office. Okay. So if you're in Idaho, you have to have a contract with a medical examiner. If a coroner is not a forensic pathologist, a medical doctor, like they have to perform like surgery on the bodies and get into them and conduct pathology tests and things like that. So the Kootenai County, they got canceled their contract. The Spokane County Medical Examiner's Office no longer accepts autopsy cases from Kootenai County, ending a 30-year working relationship. This is Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. The Spokane County Medical Examiner's Office no longer accepts autopsy cases from Kootenai County, ending a decades-long working relationship over allegations that the Kootenai County Coroner's Office is actively working against the agency and leaving the coroner's office scrambling. And the coroner's office is scrambling because now they're like, oh my God, now what do we do? Who's going to do our autopsies, right? Kootenai County coroner, Dr. Duke Johnson. Well, at least he's a doctor. Hopefully, but that doesn't mean he's a medical doctor. You know, I could be a doctor because I'm a educator that has a doctorate degree, right? Dr. Duke Johnson said the allegations are false. All right, what are these allegations? So he's saying that they're ending our 30-year relationship without allowing us to respond or present our side of the story. We have been working extremely hard and fast to determine what our alternatives are. Okay. In Idaho, elected coroners are, so they're elected. They are responsible, excuse me, for investigating deaths that occur under certain circumstances and determining the cause of death. So they do some of the investigating and they will determine the cause of death. My computer better not restart. That'd be bad. No state medical examiner's office handles these death investigations, so many county coroners contract with Ada County coroner's office, which is home to the state's only. Okay, so they do in Ada County. They must have this coroner who can also do the forensic pathologist stuff. So they pay $2,000 per autopsy to Spokane. That's interesting. Here's what happened. That working relationship changed December 15th when Spokane County Medical Examiner Dr. Veena Singh emailed Kootenai County Coroner Dr. Duke Johnson. I have recently learned that one of your deputy coroners has been working closely with a disgruntled former employee of the Spokane County Medical Examiner's office. Oh, I know who this is. I think I know who this is. We'll look at that next. To destabilize our office operations. And this is coming from Singh, Veena Singh. While, of course, your staff can act as they please and associate with whom they please, I am sure you can understand that I am not willing to spend SMCEO time and resources on assisting an office that is actively working against us. Oh my gosh. Like everything that touches the Idaho 4 case has a side of crazy. It has a side of crazy. This is crazy. All right. All right, here's what happened. So Veena Singh became the coroner right before the Idaho 4 case, I believe. Like she wasn't there long. I have really looked into her because I wanted to find a video of her testifying at a hearing and just see like what information does she share so that we could like know what to expect in the Idaho 4 case. Can't find a video. I did find some cases named, but only one or two where she actually, I think one where she had to testify and then a couple more where she wrote reports. Okay. She has worked in Arizona, New Mexico, and Minnesota before coming back to Washington. And she's from either Portland, Oregon, or Seattle, Washington. She's from one of those two places. Okay, so when Veena Singh came to the Spokane Medical Examiner's office, here's what happened. Spokane's new medical examiner is reviewing multiple cases that families and police say should be designated as homicides. Okay, this is just, I'm looking at who this photo is. I think this photo is just an example of a victim. 5 years ago, and what's the date on this? This is June 8th of 2022. So 5 years before that, several families whose loved ones had apparently died in traumatic ways asked the Spokane County Medical Examiners to change their rulings as to how their relatives died. In one case, 20-year-old Kayla Williams' body had been found. Oh, this is trigger warning, disturbing details. But her body was found cut in half and loosely buried in plastic bags and a sleeping bag. But then Spokane County Medical Examiner Dr. John Howard ruled the case. He ruled the cause and manner of her death as undetermined. Undetermined? Oh my gosh. You guys, think about all the cases in Idaho that were ruled self-harm. I need to jot this down. So it'd be interesting to go look at, did those bodies go to the Spokane County Medical Examiner and was this former pathologist the one who ruled on that? Looking at your comments, looks like you guys are discussing other things, which is fine. Multiple times over the years since her body was found in 2012, police detectives and family members requested that Howard rule her death a homicide due to the state of her body, which had signs of multiple defensive wounds and evidence of a sexual assault that provided DNA of a possible suspect. So, okay, I'm not going to go into all of the other cases, but man, there's 5 big ones. And so here's Veena Singh. Here's her photo. She comes in. She's the new coroner, and she's like, she's starting to change them. She did rule that some of them are homicides. So she's helping those families and making these cases. Looks like you're back, Dylan, but don't keep doing that. Inappropriate comments. We don't do that here. All right, so that's some information about the coroner.
Mabbitt adds that she does not believe the toxicology report on each of the 4 University of Idaho students will be relevant to the manner or cause of death. Now, Mabbitt has been the county coroner for 16 years in Latah County. She says in that time, there have been at least 2 other multiple homicide scenes that she's been involved in. But she says this current homicide investigation is the only one she's been to where there are 4 people at one scene. Now, we are continuing to press local authorities like the Moscow Police Department, as well as the Latah County prosecutor. I have made multiple calls into their offices yesterday and today, have not got a call returned from either agencies. Now, we know there are University of Idaho students, their families, and the greater Moscow community, many of which are still concerned for their safety, even though the police department says there is no active threat to the community. So that is why we remain here in Moscow pressing for answers. And once we do get those, we'll continue to keep you updated. Reporting in Moscow, Amanda Rowley, KREM 2 News.
2 of the 4 University of Idaho students who died on Sunday, Xana and Maddie, both worked here at Mad Creek Restaurant. The restaurant has closed its doors for now, and they have also put out a memorial for all 4 of those students.
Tucked inside a Main Street restaurant bench is a memorial catching the community's attention, including Annalise Mitchell. She's a sophomore at University of Idaho.
I just wanted to kind of take a moment to remember them.
Annalise is one of many students struggling to process the death of 4 fellow classmates.
It's been surreal, devastating, horrific, honestly.
Annalise knew the 4 students from the university's Greek life.
When I did talk to them, they were just nothing but kind and nothing but bright and positive, and they definitely made an impact on everyone that they've met.
Now, as classes resume today, many students are leaving campus.
People can't even focus on their schoolwork. Like my sisters and I, we've tried to do our homework and it's not possible.
Annalise says for her friends that are still here, she's just being supportive.
Nothing will be the same. At least we're all here for each other and just remembering.
But that community doesn't take away the pain.
Just angry, honestly, because again, it's 4 people. 4 people that have touched so many lives and have touched my friends, and to see them in such grief and suffering, it just makes me angry.
In Moscow, Nicole Hernandez, KREM 2 News.
It's not something you ever expect to hear.
Through the tears and shock, Jim and Stacy Chapin described the moment they found out their son Ethan was gone.
It's not a call that you think that you're going to have to speak with the funeral home directors and the FBI and have it hit national news.
Earlier this week, Moscow police identified identified Chapin as one of the 4 victims killed in the home just off campus. Stacy and Jim said their son was staying with his girlfriend at the house, who was also killed, Xana Kernodle. So far, police haven't released many details about the investigation, and as questions mount, the Chapins say they wanted to make sure Ethan's story was told.
It's important for us to get Ethan's story out. We don't really want anybody else representing him. And it's hard to have people speaking on his behalf. So we think it's best for us to do this.
He's the kind of kid that everybody wanted to be around. You know, he was just a good kid.
He's a good kid.
That
kind to all.
Didn't deserve what happened.
No.
They say Ethan was a triplet. He and his siblings were extremely close. In fact, they all decided to attend the University of Idaho. Jim says Ethan was an athletic kid who played club soccer and refereed youth sports.
I hate when I do that. Thank you for telling me, though. I was just saying that I don't understand why we can't know what their injuries are. Like, not that I have a morbid curiosity and I just want to know what that is, but it would tell, you know, what happened that night, I believe. And his mom was just saying, you know, he didn't deserve what happened to him. And I was saying, with the Ellen Greenberg case, which is a case I want to go back and talk about, that happened in Pennsylvania, and I believe it's still unsolved. They put her crime scene photos, injuries and all, on TV for everybody to see. I don't know if they need like a special release for that or whatever, but I don't want to see the injuries of these kids' bodies because I don't like seeing that stuff, but I would like to know exactly what happened because I think it would tell things about weapons and how long someone would have spent in the room, how long the attack would have happened. Just think it would tell a lot of information.
His smile, he says, lit up a room, and he made friends wherever he went. They had just spent last weekend at the university for Parents' Weekend.
And as we pulled out of Moscow, we literally were like, we've done it. We've literally done it as parents. We've created 3 incredible humans that will go on and have something great to offer to
Hi,
this
Becca. Hi, Jessie Lynn.
world. Honestly, all 3 of them.
A week later, as they grapple with this horrific loss, they say they're determined to keep moving forward for Ethan.
We will not let this sink us or sink our kids, because if anything, they have to go on and shine Ethan's bright light on their own.
Mm-hmm.
I love that this is going one day at a time. So this would be Wednesday, the 14th, 15th, 16th. And I think this is the day they said the autopsies were being done.
Moscow Police Chief James Fry, University of Idaho President Scott Green, and the Director of Idaho State Police, Colonel Kendrick Wills, all spoke at today's press conference. Before Wednesday's press conference, Moscow Police had only told the public the 4 students were found dead inside the home late Sunday morning. Wednesday, they revealed that all 4 victims were stabbed to death. Chief Fry says 2 other roommates were at the home during the attack, but were not injured, and he is not calling them witnesses. He said they were also home when police arrived at the house. Fry did not say why the call to police was not until noon on Sunday when the attack happened in the early morning hours. Police said it appeared to be a targeted attack, but...
All right. So I wanted to look that up. Okay. I know I looked it up a long time ago. I believe a targeted attack is something they think is planned out ahead of time. Here, I'm going to do it again. What is a targeted attack? According to law enforcement. Okay, let's see. I don't want cybersecurity. There we go. I had to clarify something. Hold on. Okay. According to law enforcement, a targeted attack is a murder, or in a murder, is a premeditated, goal-directed, and deliberate act of violence where the perpetrator selects a specific victim, a specific location, or a specific group prior to the incident. Okay. They have no idea if Brian Koberger is the perpetrator, what his target was, what his plan was, anything like that. There was no evidence of that. No connection to the victims, no stalking, anything like that. Okay. So in the investigation, if they're seeing evidence of that, so they're saying, we believe it's a targeted attack. Let me just rewind and make sure that's what they're saying right here.
But were not injured, and he is not calling them witnesses.
Okay, that's important too. I'll go back to that. Not calling them witnesses. Not calling them witnesses. Okay. Focus on one thing.
He said they were also home when police arrived at the house. Fry did not say why the call to police was not until noon on Sunday when the attack happened in the early morning hours. Police said it appeared to be a targeted attack, but did...
Okay. It appeared to be a targeted attack. Uh-oh. It appeared to be a targeted attack. So they are seeing evidence in the house, in the crime scene, that is telling them that. Okay, but then you arrested somebody who has no connection, no plan, no anything like that, and they were telling people that so that, you know, hey, it's targeted. They only went after this house. We don't have any reason to believe they're going to go after any other house, so you're safe. But then once Brian is arrested, this is what's important. They flip that script and they're like, oh, you know, it was a crime of opportunity and he just like randomly picked this house and he's crazy and he just wanted to go out and kill somebody that night. And right? And the evidence isn't matching any of that. There is a lot of evidence that it is I do believe, I think they were right at the beginning. It was a targeted, planned out attack. I feel personally that the evidence was not followed to find the true perpetrators of what this targeted attack was. And then the big question is why, right? Why? It's okay, Christina. Thank you, though. Thanks. Dylan, can you just be nice Just be nice. Just be nice. He'll just come back under another name. Did I do something to you, Dylan? Be kind. Be kind. I didn't take that the wrong. I mean, that's fine. That's fine. All right. Oh, and what was the other thing I wanted to go back? Oh, so they also just said that Fry said that Dylan and Bethany were there that night, but we're not calling them witnesses. We can't call them witnesses. And they were there that next morning. Oh, I see what you're doing.
Not explain why. Moscow police have also been saying that they do not believe there is an ongoing threat to the community. But today, the tone changed. Police say the search for a suspect continues and people should look out for each other. Meantime, we found this video from a Moscow food truck that's from early Sunday morning. It shows two of the students, Kaylee and Maddie, ordering food around 1:40 a.m. This is one of the last times they were seen. Moscow police say this video is helping investigators recreate a timeline of events from that night.
And it has helped. It gives us a time and space where we know that two of our victims were, and that helps us a ton, and we'll continue to follow up all leads that we can.
The family of Kaylee Gonsalves have seen the video and agreed to let us publish it. They identified Maddie Mogan wearing the long black jacket and Kaylee, who is with her, in the white sweatshirt.
It's normally a place where everyone feels really safe.
Joseph Woodall is the manager of the grub truck. He is seen in the video working the cash register, taking the girl's order. This afternoon, he described their interaction with me.
One of the blondes was just a little bit more cheery and kind of bouncing around a little bit more. And then one was like standing there and doing the hello, how are you? And goes through the interactions. And normally that's pretty normal. In most of our groups, there's people that are more energetic and people that are managing the energetic people.
Joseph told me he felt incredibly sad when he learned the news about the girls he had just seen the other night.
Hope they find the person. Hope they get the person.
Ever tragically, as many students that want to attend the opportunity to.
Moscow PD says whoever did this used a large knife. We also learned yesterday.
All right, I'm going to back this part up. Okay, Thursday.
The Spokane County Medical Examiner finished the autopsies yesterday and sent them over to the Latah County Coroner. With that, the coroner sent out this. You can see here at the bottom of the document, cause of death, homicide, murder, and manner of death is stabbing. Moscow PD says whoever did this used a large knife. We also learned yesterday Idaho State Police say investigators think the killer got in the house through the sliding glass door. ISP says the forensic team is taking another look at the house to make sure they didn't miss any details.
We intend to come out and solicit information from the public if they are within certain areas that we believe are of interest for this investigation. And so hopefully today or early tomorrow, we will come out with a map where the victims were at specific times during the night and ultimately ending at their residence.
The FBI's Behavioral Analysis Unit is now helping in the investigation. They do crime analysis, create suspect profiles, and help with interview strategies. ISP says an FBI command vehicle is on its way to bring Moscow up more resources. As for the other two roommates who were home during the attack, ISP says they are cooperating with investigators. They are not suspects or persons of interest as of now, but ISP says nobody is clear from the investigation yet.
Interesting. And there were, some reporters that questioned the surviving roommates back at that time. I don't think they were ever treated as people of interest or anything like that. Saying they were cooperative. Now, remember, this is Thursday. So as up to Thursday, they're saying they're being cooperative, right? Hey, Twiz, how are you today? Jeff was in here as Jeff. I don't think he would come in as someone else. I don't think. They did, Witchy. They did. Like they're normal questions. Like that's why I hate when we get, we like people on social media and YouTube and channels that question things in this case. Like we're wrong for questioning it, but yeah, the journalists were doing it at the beginning for sure. Also, she mentioned how, so my feeling in this case is that the coroner, Kathy Mabbitt, only did like 2 parts, like, cause of death and manner of death, cause and manner of death, right? It was murder and caused by a large knife or a sharp bladed weapon or something like that. My point today is I think there could have been a lot more. There's a lot more evidence that could have been collected by her office, and that could have helped in maybe determining things in this case. So let's go to let me see. Page 93 of this one doc. Let me see. I don't know if it was that one. I think it's this one. Nope, maybe this one. Yep. Maybe not. Numbers. Hold on, I'm looking for this document that I wanted. Nope. All right, what was I looking at? Page 93. Oh. All right. Hot mess over here. All right, we're going to go on to close a couple of my tabs. Here we go.
Beep, 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 beep. It's time for Lucy Morningstar's crash course on the facts.
Is Lucy in here yet? Am I summoning her?
Beep, 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 beep. It's time for Lucy Morningstar's crash course on the facts.
All right, we're going to use one of Lucy's videos from, I want to say it might be about 8 months old, but it has information about the coroner in it. And nope.
In the newsroom, Nicole analysis, create suspect profiles.
1 second. There it is. There it is. Oh, wait. What is it? All right. It shared it automatically. Awesome.
To say that police in Idaho are baffled tonight might be an understatement. 4 college kids at the University of Idaho were found dead in a barbaric scene. A savage killer having used a military-styled knife to butcher all of them. And that killer is still on the loose tonight. The autopsies have now been completed, and the coroner who performed them is kind enough to be live with me tonight.
Okay, this is hilarious because even this news reporter asked the coroner about her conducting the autopsies. Coroners don't conduct the autopsies. Coroners don't conduct the autopsies in like most of the situations. Definitely not in this case. Definitely not in this case.
Mabbitt is the Latah County medical examiner. Ms. Mabbitt, thank you so much for being here. The first question I have for you is, what was the condition of the bodies when they arrived at your lab?
Well, I am not the medical examiner. I'm the coroner, and the autopsies were done in Spokane, Washington, at the medical examiner's office up there. So,
were you present for any of it, or you received their results?
No, I was there when the autopsies were done.
Okay. So she was there when the autopsies were done. And one of the reports that I was looking for today that I could not find, I know that it listed who exactly was there. And I think there were 1 or 2 officers and Kathy. And that's normal. It's normal for officers to be there.
So were you able to determine that the conditions of the bodies when they arrived?
Yes, they had multiple stab wounds, and all of them have been ruled murders.
All of them have been ruled murders, yes. I don't have to say the obvious, but it is extremely difficult to stab 4 people to death. So that's why I asked the specifics about the conditions. Were there defensive wounds? Was there anything unique to their wounds that would have told a story?
There are likely some defensive wounds, but no, there just were a lot of stab wounds. And so, I mean, it was late at night or early in the morning. So it seems likely that maybe they were sleeping.
Okay. She says a lot of words like think, likely, maybe, kind of, and maybe, likely and probable might be okay when you're investigating something, but the coroner and the medical examiner, they work to do the medical part of the investigation. Medically, what can they find out as clues and information to help law enforcement figure out this crime? Okay. It's not just cause and manner of death, but it also, they're supposed to try to help find out how were they killed. So when she asks her these questions about the injuries, I am expecting, and this is why I'm hot on this trail of this medical examiner stuff, is because it's not enough to say, stabbing. And I believe she'll say in a few minutes that they weren't just puncture wounds. And again, I'll bring up the Ellen Greenberg case. When you look at her injuries, you can tell it's a puncture. So for Kathy Mabbitt to say they definitely were not punctures, so then describe it for us the way it really is. Then what is it? If it's not a puncture, what is it? And then that would lead to a weapon. What kind of a weapon, right? Is a 7-inch K-bar large enough to make the injuries that you saw on these victims? She says it was a large knife. How large? What shape? If they're not a puncture, was it someone swinging from a far distance? I mean, these are just, I'm not trying to be graphic. It is graphic, but you want to find out what happened to these students to figure out motive, how many people, how many weapons. Did every single wound match one weapon? We already know that's no, because of Kaylee's different injuries around her mouth being released. But they don't really address that too much. They're just like, I don't know, some rounded object. I don't know. In my opinion, I think it's their job to try to figure out what are the possibilities, what could make that injury. What could make that injury? And here's where the police and the medical examiner are supposed to work together. I've heard lots of people talk about these golf clubs that were in the house, right? I don't know this. I don't think it's been mentioned in any report, but just as an example, if there was a golf club found on the floor somewhere after this crime scene, the coroner needs to know that. She needs to see that. And then that would be a possible weapon. Okay. Now that didn't happen in this case, I do not think. What else was in Maddie's room that was rounded that could have been used? What else was in the house that was rounded that could have been used? A lot of experts are saying, or a lot of people that think Brian Kohberger's the only person, say, oh, it was just the butt of the knife. So it's her job and the medical examiner's job to say, it could be the butt of the knife. That matches what we see here. I haven't seen that. Have you guys seen that? Hey, Nomadic Duckman. Yeah, you can say that truth exposed, but that I haven't seen that in a document anywhere. And that's what I'm saying. That is the type of information that should be in the report, right? Hi, Brian. I hope I said hello to you. Yeah, see, it seems likely. Shouldn't be using those words.
Were they found in separate areas of the house?
That hasn't been disclosed yet.
Can you tell me, when you say that they might have been sleeping, were they found in beds?
Yes.
And so can you tell me if there were multiple stab wounds per victim, or were these sort of, individual lethal stab wounds that may have been less in number, but more in lethality?
There were multiple stab wounds, yes, on them. So, and
were there? Go ahead.
And most of them had just like one that was the lethal stab wound. Yes.
Can you describe what that one might have been?
But they were to the fatal ones were to the chest area or the upper body area.
Were there, and I only ask this because it sometimes determines what kind of a crime this was, a crime of passion, a random crime, a fight, a struggle. Was there, were any of them slashed? Were any of their necks cut? Or were these all puncture wounds?
Well, it was a pretty large knife, so it's really hard to call them puncture wounds. Well, it was a pretty large knife, so it's really hard to call them puncture wounds, and they were definitely stabbings.
Wait, you guys, what is she showing right here? This is why I wish Lucy was here. She'll like point these things out. Let me see. Did I miss something back here too? She keeps showing. What is she showing? Right here.
Slashed? Were any of their necks cut? Or were these all puncture wounds?
Well, it was a pretty large knife, so it's.
What am I missing in this video that she's showing?
Slashed? Were any of their necks cut? Or were these all puncture wounds?
Oh my God. Is he holding? What is he holding? Rewind that. Do you guys see that?
A crime this was, a crime of passion, a random crime, a fight, a struggle. Was there, were any of them slashed? Were any of their necks cut? Or were these all puncture wounds?
Wait a minute. No, that's a string. Are my eyes playing tricks on me?
Puncture wounds.
Well, it was a pretty large knife, so it's really hard to call them puncture wounds. Well, it was a pretty large knife, so it's really hard to call them puncture wounds. And they were definitely stabbings. And I mean, it has to be somebody that's pretty angry in order to stab 4 people to death.
So it's fascinating that I'm reading that the DNA testing is still to come, that those bodies are going to go to a crime lab for DNA testing. But we are, you know, this is Sunday that this happened. We're multiple days since, and there's a killer on the loose. I'm curious as to why the DNA testing hasn't happened already.
Well, the bodies have been released to the families. The DNA testings were, things from the crime scene have been sent to forensic labs for DNA testing. And then there were lots of swabs that were taken at the autopsies, as well as fingernail clippings, their clothing. All of those things have been taken to the forensic lab for the DNA testing. That's where it would come from.
And that doesn't, it usually takes a long time, but when there's an exigent circumstance like this, it's often expedited. Do you expect that these results will come back quickly? Again, there is a killer on the loose, so to know that DNA result would be critical.
Right, and I don't know the time frame, but yes, it's all being expedited. There's lots of Idaho State Police Forensic Lab and the FBI, and so they have all been transported in there. They're working on those things. I don't know the time frame.
Okay, let me see if I can find this other document that said, all right, I believe I have this one. It is this one. Page 17. I'm going to page 1793. Oops. 17. Right there. Okay, this is correspondence. Let me make sure you guys can see this. I'm sure you've all seen this document. What's going on, Dago? Hi. I don't think it's about you. Chat's gone wild today, Dago. Chat's gone wild. I attract things, apparently. I don't know. It's not you. It's not you. Put a red flag in the chat if we need action taken. Put a red flag if action needs taken in the chat. And please let me know if you saw the poll. I started a poll. Let me know if you saw the poll because I don't see it. Oh, wait, there it is. All right. Let me show you. Let me read this to you. Okay. So we were just talking about the the DNA. They want the DNA done, okay, on Thursday. So 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, November 17th. This is correspondence from Wednesday the 16th. And it says, as of right now, the knife sheath is their only item of evidence. As of right now, the knife sheath is their only item of evidence. They have no other evidence. We are being told. We have had some recent developments in the last few minutes, you guys. So the last few minutes, what is this doing? We are rolling a crime scene team up there right now. Probably Jenny, Carrie, Tara, Haley, and Wyatt, if they're all available, and possibly Ann. This is Moscow PD's case. ISP is assisting, but Moscow is the lead. Bill Thompson at the prosecutor's office is involved and will be person of contact for PTC. The autopsies are occurring today. So the autopsies have not been done yet. Matthew is going to call their office to let them know what we need specifically for major case prints and that we need DNA references. They do now, right here, they do now have a suspect. This was on November 16th. November 16th. We do now have a suspect. Oh, Italian girl put a lot of red flags. Thank you. Oh my God. I missed all your red flags. Meg or Jesse, go ahead and do it. Go ahead and do it. All right, I'm continuing on. I want you guys to focus on, I want us all to have a discussion together, not fighting with people in the chat. So if you're coming here just to cause fights and arguments and stuff, what's the matter, Meg? You wanted to do it? No, Jeff, I don't think Jeff's doing anything. Jeff's can stay. Just because there's different opinions, I don't care about that. But if anybody's calling somebody names, we're not doing that. All right. So on November 16th, we do now have a suspect 3 days after the murders, and it's redacted. They are following him to get a surreptitious DNA sample. Okay. He does have something. I don't have a name to check. They do now have a suspect. So she's asking about DNA references. They do now have a suspect. They're following him to get some, a cup that he drinks out of or a cigarette butt he throws away or something like that. He does have, I don't know why that has to be redacted. I don't have a name to check. We expect the references and major case prints along with one of the victim's fingernail clippings, scrapings. I don't know what they will collect to be submitted tomorrow. Tina will be the person performing the processing on the sheath for Layton's. Their evidence person, and see, here's another big thing, you guys. Their evidence person is on vacation this week. Mariah, who is filling in, has been in contact with these other people. She's trying her best, but there could be some things not quite right on pre-log that we will do our best to work out. And here's another that like really bothers me because this is a major case. And if you already see, oh, we might have some issues here. I think we're going to have some issues here. Warning, like take precautions to make sure those don't have somebody who is filling in an urgent position. Like, could they have waited a week until whoever gets back from vacation? I don't know. Right, Sleuther? So you're talking about like, our normal person who does this job all the time and is the expert is going to be on vacation, but we're just going to let her like little substitute person that hardly ever does this do this major important work. And then you see there were issues with things. So yeah. Right. So that was one. All right, let's finish Lucy's video here. Okay. Rapid DNA and crime scene use, crime scene limitations. Mouth swabs are ideal for rapid DNA devices as they contain large amounts of fresh DNA from one individual. However, crime scene samples can present challenges for current rapid DNA technology because crime scene samples can vary widely from age, exposure, and characteristics regarding the amount and quality of DNA. Most importantly, crime scene samples often contain mixtures of DNA from more than one person. Hello, which requires interpretation by a trained scientist. For these reasons, all crime scene samples must be processed by an accredited forensic DNA laboratory that follows the FBI quality assurance standards for forensic DNA testing laboratories to be eligible for the CODIS system. As outlined by leading forensic scientists, technology advancements are needed to bring rapid DNA into compliance with the FBI quality assurance standards for forensic DNA testing. So this is saying technology advancement. So like I'm assuming the equipment they're using, the FBI hopes to expand rapid DNA's use in the future. In the meantime, the FBI continues to monitor advancements in rapid DNA technology, work with federal, state, and local agencies to promote responsible use of rapid DNA, collaborate with industry to help advance this technology. Okay, because I looked up Othram and that DNA lab in Florida, and they are both accredited. And they meet all the criteria by these FBI quality assurance standards. So unless the FBI changes those standards, I haven't seen any agency that's not meeting them, but they're making this big deal about updated equipment. Okay. Okay. Most interpretation by a trained scientist. Bye, nomadic duck man. Oh, let me see. Othram achieves ISO. Oh, I know what ISO is because when you work like for a factory company, it's like safety protocols and stuff like that. So Othram achieves ISO accreditation through ANAB for massively parallel sequencing. The Woodlands, Texas, July 15, 2024. Oh, okay. Othram, the leading is pleased to announce that their forensic laboratory has been accredited by the National Accreditation Board. Okay. All right. Oh, wait a minute. It's 2020. This is 2024, you guys. This is 2024. When were the crimes? I keep stopping it. Dig the past. Hello there. Hey, Jen. That's a good question. Was Othram accredited back in 2022? I know they're accredited now. Is that why the FBI took the DNA back? Just questions I'm asking. The article that, hi, Kenny Dodson. Hi, Glenn. Yeah, Dago. Hello. Ding, ding, ding. I need a red flag. Red flag. Red flag. So they just got accredited in 2024. Okay. So this is rapid DNA uses. Okay, a match to a disk profile, I don't know what this is, what this means, will result in an immediate notification to the booking agency, arresting agency, and investigating agency. This technology allows law enforcement to receive, oh, you guys can't see what I'm sharing, can you? Here we go. Can you? Yeah. A match to a disk provider. Okay, this technology allows law enforcement to receive investigative leads while an arrestee is still in custody, possibly preventing additional violent crimes. Okay, so the green arrow is pointing down here at the bottom. Approved to process crime scene samples for CODIS. No across the board. Ooh. So the law enforcement agency was not, The laboratory was not, and the booking station was not. Interesting.
A wall on the outside of the house. It looked like the foundation on the outside of the house. I'm going to ask the control room to put that picture up again. This was fairly shocking to see. It's blood dripping on the outside of the house, almost as though it may be seeping from the inside. Does that sound congruent with the results of the crime scene that you were able to ascertain from your work?
For that.
Ms. Mabott, we showed a picture a moment ago of a wall on the outside of the house. It looked like the foundation on the outside of the house. I'm going to ask the control room to put that picture up again. This was fairly shocking to see. It's blood dripping on the outside of the house, almost as though it may be seeping from the inside. Does that sound congruent with the results of the crime scene that you were able to ascertain from your work?
From my observations, yes. From my observations, yes.
Okay, remember this video that Lucy made, she made it before the crime scene photos came out, before probably documents came out that, you know, so that we didn't really know where the victims were. Okay, now we know, but this was very telling at that time. It is an illusion, I agree.
And can you tell me if that means that this might have been one of the bedrooms or where the beds were, that one of the victims was stabbed, this particular area of the house?
I think that's pretty likely, yes.
I know. She put, what? Mabott she should have went in the house. She should have identified and went in and looked at all of the victims. This show's going to end up being a two-parter for tomorrow because I have a video of a real coroner who gets interviewed and she explains all the work that she does. And it's fascinating, but it's too much for today. So I'm going to save that for tomorrow. But oh my gosh, I mean, just say what you know. Like, is it too hard to say, yeah, that's a bedroom? Like, I don't know.
And can you tell me if that means that this might have been one of the bedrooms or where the beds were, that one of the victims was stabbed, this particular area of the house?
I think that's pretty likely, yes. I think that's pretty likely, yes.
I mean, the issue with that is that she's talking like she doesn't know. If you don't want to say that information, say, I'm not, how do they say it? I'm not approved to discuss that at this time. You know, she's talking like, oh, I don't know, I wasn't in the house. That's the difference. That's the difference here.
Is there anything else, any other information you can shed on that particular scene?
What are we pointing at here? Does anybody know? I'm not sure what we're pointing at. Oh, this. Okay, so this is on the deck. Oh, she's showing that the blood's not there. I gotcha. So the blood's not there. Gotcha.
No, it's not. I mean, my job is to deal with the manner and cause of death, and that is really being done by the forensics and the crime scene investigators.
And everyone does their job differently, but one thing I do know, and that is that when determining manner and cause of death, it's not just the science in the lab, it's also the circumstances at the crime scene. And I'm assuming that you got a pretty voluminous volume of information that you had to go through. Is there anything that stood out in that volume of information that you...
I can't. I mean, you must have just had a voluminous, whatever word she used, amount of information to go through. Okay, I also have a document that says she did not go into the house until 8:15 at night. I don't know if I have that marked of where to. I'm gonna have to show that part again tomorrow. We're gonna get in more specifically tomorrow about exactly what she did and should have been done. But she's like, yeah. But then she really just only talks about cause and manner of death, of death, and avoids like any investigative work. In my opinion, that's what I hear.
Received that might lead police to say it was a targeted attack, because that's confounded a lot of us. Is there anything that stood out in that volume of information that you received that might lead police to say it was a targeted attack? Because that's confounded a lot of us.
Right. Yes, I don't share that same opinion, really.
What did you guys hear that?
Bombastic side eye. Criminal offensive side eye.
She did not share the same opinion as the police. So the police said targeted attack. Someone planned this out. They chose the victims. They knew what they were going to do. They planned it ahead of time. They had a reason for doing it. And she's saying, no. So what, Kathy? You think this is a serial killer on the loose? You think this is a crazed maniac who lost control and like just randomly went in and did that? Because if that's the case, then they should have warned that whole community to be safe and on the lookout, because we've got a crazy killer on the loose. And they didn't do that. Right? Yeah, Jeff, I told people not to do that. Yeah, you guys leave Jeff alone. We can have different opinions in here. The only thing when I want people blocked out of our chat is when, like earlier, we had people making rude sexual comments to other people in the chat. Totally ridiculous. Like, get lost with that stuff. Yeah, rude, nasty, insulting, comments to other people. Like, if someone comes in here and says something that you don't like, don't respond to it. Ignore it. Chat with the people that you want to chat with. Listen to what I'm talking about. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Those are my expectations.
I there's 4 people that have all been killed at one scene, and 4 young college students. So all of them were stabbed and all of them were killed. So right. Yes, I didn't share that same. I don't share that same opinion, really. There's 4 people that have all been killed at one scene, and 4 young college students. So all of them were stabbed and all of them were killed. So
she's not really explaining her opinion, just saying, yeah, they were all stabbed, they were all killed. She's not explaining why she doesn't think it's targeted. But remember, she did not go into the house, into the crime scene until like, I want to keep saying 8:15 at night. I think it was that late. I do have it. Like I said, I'm going to go over it tomorrow. What happened? So the police go in there. The police are in there from noon until 8 p.m. 8 hours. 8 hours. Where do we hear 8 hours? 8 hours. They thought it was targeted. But then 8 hours later, when the coroner goes in, she's like, this just looks like someone came in and just like stabbed these kids randomly. She said she did not agree that it was targeted. She did say, I was letting the police do their thing. But here's the kicker, and there's one more piece of research that I need to do for tomorrow. I need to find out what Idaho says the responsibilities and duties of coroners are. Because the video I have for tomorrow is a coroner from, I think it's North Carolina, but she does a fabulous job explaining what her work is and how she does things. And she addresses crime scenes. According to her, and every state is different, that's why I need to find Idaho. But in a lot of states, the coroner and law enforcement and the medical examiner, they all work as a team. They're all investigators, but they do different parts of the investigation. She was kept out of that, in my opinion. She's kept out. I mean, it's really not my opinion. It's documented on paper, right? Oh, Twiz. Do we need Meg to fill out an HR form for your complaint so I can review it later? Seriously, Twiz, tell me specifically what exactly happened, because I didn't see any like sexual or mean, nasty, harassing comments. Twiz knows I love him, but we gotta have some thick skin over here. Twiz, did I remember? I think I told you, as a public school teacher, if you guys heard the things that I was called, and I thought I was the fun teacher, right? I had fun with my students, did a lot of things with them and for them, and thought I had good relationships. But when a kid gets mad, and the words, I mean, if you guys heard some of the things that I was called, woof, you got to like dust that dirt off your shoulder. Is Meg still in here? Because I thought Meg was HR. I'm going to put a poll. File your complaint here in a poll. Oh, Dago, I'll tell you later. I
am not sure how that is targeted.
There it is.
I'm not sure how that is targeted.
I mean, it certainly seemed odd to me as well. Can you tell me if there were at least signs of struggle, meaning maybe the first victim was sleeping, but...
That's a good discussion question right there. That's a very good discussion question right there. If you're the police and you walk into a crime scene and you find these 4 stabbing victims in their beds, what do you think they saw to make them think it was targeted? What would you have to see for that? I would think binding materials, evidence of time spent there. I'm trying to say things without being too graphic. Oh my God, we are still having issues. I'm going to have a headache at the end of this episode. It has been a fight fest in here today. Lucy. Oh, so you think they said it was targeted because because they were only going after certain people. That makes sense. Thank you. Thank you, Lucy. So yeah, if a killer's going into a house and they're only killing certain people and leaving other people alive, then that's a target. Gotcha. Elantra Bug Guard. I gotta write down all of Jeff's names. Twiz, quit blocking Jeff. Oh my God. I can't focus anymore, Jessie Lynn. I've lost all the class is out of control. At this time, me as a teacher would be like, we're going outside for recess. I've lost all control. We're going outside for recess. Wilson Green Communication. I'm just going to sit here and read all of Jeff's alternate names and laugh. I'm just going to put your... I can't. Kim, I didn't want to add your channel to the list of no guilters, but Twiz gives me no choice. Aw, Jeff, you are not. Just give me a chance. Twiz, you are I don't see what Jeff is doing. That's so wrong. Like, seriously. Hi, Glenn. Jeff and Twiz have a parallel investigation going on. Oh my goodness. Aww. Twiz, we're going to have to talk.
The ensuing noise and confusion may have awakened the others, and they may have come to fruitlessly try to fight off this killer.
I think that's one of the things that that law enforcement is looking at. I was notified shortly after law enforcement was called to the scene, but I didn't actually go there.
All right, let's see. So Mabbit stopped herself from saying something. Let's see.
Ensuing noise and confusion may have awakened the others, and they may have come to...
Oh, Ashley Banfield thinks that there would have been noise and confusion. Do you guys think there would have been noise during this crime? Noise and confusion. Okay. Yeah, I think so too.
To fruitlessly try to fight off this killer.
I think that's one of the things that that law enforcement is looking at. I was notified shortly after law enforcement was called to the scene.
Oh, I was notified shortly after they were something. And then she changed to law enforcement. I'm sure Lucy's going to play it more than once.
But I didn't actually go there for several hours because they're the ones who have to look for the evidence and take the pictures and videos from the scene.
One of the things, you guys, that I learned in that video we're going to watch tomorrow is that it is a typical responsibility for coroners to take their own set of photos. And think about that. If you're doing this very important job And law enforcement has been in that crime scene for 8 hours before you get in there. You're held responsible for your documentation. What do you see when you get in there? What are your observations? If there's anything different at the moment as the coroner when you get in there, you need to document that with photos just to protect your own work, right? Because if it comes down the road later, like if this would have went to trial, if it ever goes to trial, things are going to come out about the condition of the victims. And if law enforcement says one thing and you saw something else as the coroner, you need to have that documented. So I would hope that somewhere there are coroner photos that they took. She should also be, I learned that coroners take their own evidence. What are they seeing in the crime scene that should be considered evidence, and making sure it gets collected and noting it and taking notes and all that stuff. So it's frustrating to me because every time I hear her talk, I feel like all she says is they were stabbed and it was a murder. They were stabbed. It was a murder. They were stabbed. It was a murder. Like, that's her job is more than that. It should be more than that. And I don't think maybe that's what they do there. Maybe they just do manner of death and cause of death, and that's it.
So I think they would have more information than I would about that.
Inside that house, how big is the scene?
Exactly, Sluther.
It's a large house. So it's a big scene to investigate.
Yeah, thank you, Witchy. Thank you. She said coroner photos came up in a case on a recent Dateline edition. The photos made the case. Yes, they are investigators. They're part of the investigation team. Yeah, great.
Multiple floors? The incident happened on multiple floors?
Well, it's a multiple floor house, yes.
But did the crime happen on multiple floors, meaning they had to do forensics and there were victims and evidence on multiple floors?
I think there's evidence on multiple floors, yes.
Were there bodies found on multiple floors in different locations, or were they all found together?
I am not authorized to release that right now.
Well, I certainly...
See, that's the answer I want to hear from her. You either know stuff or you don't know stuff. And if you don't know it, just say, or if you aren't allowed to say it, you know it, but you're not allowed to say it, just say that. Like, don't him and haw and say maybe, kind of.
Respect what you can and can't do. And I really appreciate you coming on with us tonight. This is just a horrendous situation. Kathy Mabbitt, thank you for your work and for your time.
Oh, sure. Thank you very much.
Here comes the potato. I love the potato.
We, of course, complied with all the court's orders and provided the information, but this isn't, there's not a lot of information, not because it's secretive. But because it's just not our case.
Huh.
It's not what we're focused on. It's not the evidence we plan on using at trial. And yes, IGG was used in this case. And yes, it did point to the defendant. It's not what we're focused on. It's not the evidence we plan on using at trial. And yes, IGG was used in this case. And yes, it did point to the defendant. But the fact that that happened doesn't mean that there was a violation of the Fourth Amendment. Unless the court has any questions, we ask you to deny the motion to suppress.
I'm going to end with this part. Watch this, guys.
FBI
in fact violated the Fourth Amendment rights of Mr. Koberger, you would agree the state is burdened by that?
That's a great way of putting it, Your Honor. Yes, the state would be burdened by that. Yes.
What was that look? Did you guys see? Hey, you guys, we get to see Hitler smile. Watch. Watch. That's not what we're really looking at, but I just caught this. Look at him smile. It's goofy. What is that? Someone screenshot that. Screenshot that. Hitler smiled. Oh, Jessie Lynn. Aw, it's okay. You can always go back and replay it too. Hi, Karmic Retribution. Yep. I'm just reading your comments real quick. Okay. There's a picture of Hitler, but this is ending with talking about the IGG and the asking for it to be suppressed because the process violates Fourth Amendment rights, and that's going to get brought up in an appeal, I believe.
IGG was used in this case, and yes, it did point to the defendant.
Watch the lady in the back.
But the fact that
Watch
happened
her.
doesn't mean that there was a violation of the Fourth Amendment. Unless the court has any questions, you're asking to deny the motion to suppress.
If the FBI, in fact, violated the Fourth Amendment rights of Mr. Koberger, you would agree the state is burdened by that?
That's a great way of putting it, Your Honor. Yes, the state would be burdened by that. Yes.
More than my past beginning.
Burdened by that.
That's a great way of putting it, Your Honor. Yes, the state would be burdened by that. Yes.
All right, I'm going to stop there. Why are they smiling about this, though? Why are they smiling about it? Because they know better? Because they know it'll never happen? Like, that's so weird. So weird. Thank you for sharing Karmic Retribution's link. Please go check that channel out. Yeah. All right. So today we started off with a video. Those of you that do want to go back and replay it, I played a video from Creme 2 News that was kind of like a every day of the first week, like from their news reports and news clips, what happened on Monday, the day after the murders, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. There was some interesting information in there that we pointed out and talked about. And then I focused on the coroner and medical examiner's information. So we just watched Lucy Morningstar's video a little bit about that. And I read some information from some articles that the coroner's work, the coroner should have been more of a collaborative partner, in my opinion, and based on what I have been learning about coroners who work around the country. What is typical work for coroners around the country and medical examiners? there are differences from state to state, but you would think in a job, there's a baseline that should be all common. And I think one of those is that you are an investigative partner with law enforcement when you are a coroner. And I've had questions from the beginning because she was kept out of the crime scene for so long. And we haven't been able to see really the information we're looking for about very specific wound. I went into all the details about that earlier in the video. So if you do need to replay it, those are the types of things that we talked about and I was explaining. So tomorrow I want to do an episode of like sororities and fraternities not gone wild. I always say that, gone wild, but ever since that one fraternity hazing got caught on film and we were talking about that and like, oh my gosh, what is that culture like? I went back and just found like a whole bunch of different clips of like either odd things in this case, things that I'm like, side-eyeing, a lot of things about fraternities and sororities connected to this case. So I might end the week with those, but I do want to continue this coroner information also. So I think I'll start with the coroner tomorrow. I'll find those reports that I wanted to use today. And then we'll end with the sorority fraternity stuff because I think that'll be a good way to end our week. Pledged. Ooh, there's a book, which she was. Interesting. Does that give the history of that Greek life? Yeah, I bet. All right. Thank you to those that hung out with me and hung in there through all the distractions. That makes me sad that we can let just a couple people come in here. Now, the one person in chat, I saw the comments, totally inappropriate. I took care of that. People who just disagree with you in chat, I mean, come on. We can disagree, and I'm not going to kick them out of here because I'm not just a Brian Koberger channel. I'm not just a Idaho 4 channel. I'm a true crime channel, sharing all different cases and news, things like that. So I want people to be welcomed, and we're not always going to agree on every single thing. So it was wonderful to see so many new green, unique peeps in here. Saluther brought a lot of you into the green team. So I want to thank you once again, Saluther75. I appreciate all your support. Like that means the world to me. Thank you to all the green members who are in here today, all the blue crew, the mods. Thanks for being in here. And I know you did some work today. I know that there was some work to be done in chat today. So some days are like that. I don't know. All right. I'm going to clock out for now. Thanks, Dago. Yep. We will all be looking for Dago to go live if he's going to go live today. So make sure you're looking for that. And also go to the Devil's Advocates channel at 6 p.m. Pacific or 9 p.m. Eastern, I believe. That's like every night. So do that also. I will see you guys tomorrow and have a great rest of your day.
Thanks for watching. Hope you felt the spark. Please hit that like before it gets dark. Subscribe. It's free and keeps us going strong. You're part of the crew now, right where you belong. Join us next time. Same truth, same fire. We bring the heat and never tire. We're typically unique and proud to be a husband and wife in podcast harmony. Be unique, yeah, that's you and me. Don't forget to like and hit subscribe, it's free. Come back again, we'll be right here with truth and laughs and zero fear. show. One love, two minds, letting it flow. We dig deep with crack jokes, we call it like we see. If that's your vibe, you belong here with me. We don't always agree, but that's the show. One love, two minds, letting it flow. We dig deep with crack jokes, we call it like we see. If that's your vibe, you belong here with me. We don't always agree, but you felt the spark. Please hit that like before it gets dark. We dig deep with crack jokes, we call it like we see. If that's your vibe, you belong here with me. Thanks for watching, hope you felt the spark. Please hit that like before it gets dark. Please hit that like before it gets dark. It's free, it keeps us going strong. You're part of the crew, now right where you belong. Join us next time, same truth, same fire. We bring the heat and never tire. We're typically unique and proud to be a husband and wife and proud to be a husband and wife in podcast harmony. Yeah, that's you and me, that's you and me. Don't forget to like, hit subscribe, it's free. Come back again, we'll be right here with truth and laughs and zero fear.